Welcome once again. This is Eface Growth Hub. Alright, so last week I talked about IPO and PO, that's initial public offering and public offer. So I told you that I'm going to do video this week to talk about right issue, and that is what I'm doing here today. So what is right issue? You can look at this post here. You will see this is Dangote Sugar Refinery, and they're doing right issues to existing shareholders. So right issue is a means that company normally use to raise funds to maybe sponsor other projects, to pay off debts, to set up new company and so on and so forth. Instead of going to borrow and paying extra interest and all that, they decide to use the existing shareholders to raise funds. When a company is doing an right issue, that is to say they are bringing out new shares from the existing shares, and they are giving it to the shareholders at a discount rate. If you look at this post down here, you will see they are giving it at a discount rate. So it's tied down to the number of shares you have with the company. Say I have 100 units of shares with the company, they can say I have the right of 1 share to each 3 shares I own. That is to say, each 3 shares I own in the company, I have the right to buy 1 share. So in a situation of maybe say I have 30 shares and I have the right of 3 to 1, that is to say, I'll divide 30 by 3, and that will tell me how many shares I will be able to buy with the company. So this is how it actually works. So right issues is given to an existing shareholder. Is if you don't have share with that company, you cannot be qualified for right issue. Though existing shareholders can actually sell off their rights or give their rights to someone else, but in most cases the shareholder will pay for it, because after the right issue, the existing shares will be diluted. So that right issue is meant to help you to offset the dilution that is going to occur when after the right issues and after the whole raising of funds and all that. For example, let's say they did right issue 1 share to each 3 share that you have at the ratio of 1 to 3. Yeah, okay, at 60 naira, and the present value of the company share is, let's say, 100 naira. By the time they are through to everything, the value of share you have is going to drop. That is to say, if you own 50% of, let's say 20% of the company, after right issue, if you don't participate in the right issue, you might be surprised that when you want to really value what you have, you might be seeing the figure or the shares that is there, but the real value, it might not be up to 20%. So right,
this is a more practical way to explain it. I'm going to use crate of egg to explain this thing. So we have 30 crates of egg. Let's assume the 30 crate of egg is sold for 30,000 naira, just for simplicity's sake, so that everybody understand. Everything being equal, 30 crate of egg is sold for 30,000 naira. That is to say, each 1 piece of egg is sold for 1,000 naira. And then we have 10 investors that invested to buy this 30 crate of egg. That is to say, each of them own 3 pieces of egg. That's 3,000 naira each. Now, the crate of egg is the company stock or the company share, and the 30,000 naira is the total equity accrued to that stock. But we're not going to that, we're going to the pieces. So the each 1 pieces of egg is worth 1,000 naira, and that is the price of the share that has been sold in the stock exchange market. When you hear that, okay, this stock is sold for 17 naira per share, 18 naira per share. So in this case now, each 1 pieces of egg, the price is a share value, that is 1,000 naira. Now the 10 person that bought this crate of egg are the investors like me and you that will buy shares on the company. So 10 person subscribe and bought the shares of this particular company. That's the whole crate of egg. Now the right issue the company want to do right issue, they want to raise funds, they want to raise money, and then decide to offer a right issue to existing shareholders. I told you that right issue is for shareholders, existing shareholders. Alright, so at this particular point now, the company now say at each 2 egg you own, you can buy 1 share. That's 2:1. So at each 2 egg you own in this particular crate, you get extra 1. Now I told you each person has 3 pieces of egg. So what would they get? There is 1 plus, there's 1.5, there's 1.5. So each shareholder will have 1.5 extra pieces of egg in addition to their 3 pieces of egg. Now remember, it's always at a discounted rate. So they will now, since 1 egg is sold at 1,000 naira, but this right issue they want to discount it, they can say, okay, 1 egg, we will sell it for you at 600 naira. So the right issue is now 2:1 at 600 naira per egg, per pieces. So each investor that want to buy the rights issue, we spend 600 plus 300, that's 900 naira to buy 1.5 pieces of egg instead of 2.5, or sorry, instead of 1.5. That's what we calculate the real price of each pieces. But now they're spending 900 naira to buy the 1 pieces of egg. When they add the 1.5, sorry, the 1.5 pieces, that's 1.5. When you add 1.5 plus the 3, you have 4.5 pieces of egg. Now I told you that after the whole right issue, that the share value will be diluted. That is to say, it will not be the normal price. Since they're selling one piece of egg for 1,000 naira after the right issue, 1 piece of egg will not worth up to 1,000 naira because they are giving space for more people to come and buy into that same crate of egg, same 30 pieces of egg that was once bought by 10 persons will now be bought by more people. In this case, let's assume 15. Like they are bringing extra 5 people to buy this particular thing, because the thing is, after the right issue, they are giving out those shares to the public. They are making a public offer. So they have a public offer last week. After right issue, after giving first preference to existing shareholders, the remaining parts they're giving it to sent to the public market and the public will buy. So depending on the number of persons that buy, but let's assume 15 persons buy. So the crate of egg that was once shared by 10 persons will now be shared.
When you buy the right issue, it will help you to stay afloat, to also retain that 20% and with some little change on top. So that's how right issue work. I believe you understand me. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I do video on financial intelligence, financial inclusion, shares and stock, investment, business. Just subscribe, and every week you'll be getting updates on new topic as they come. All right, so I believe you understand what I've said about right issue, and I believe you are not confused. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. I will answer it. I can as well do new videos to explain it deeper if you want. Thank you and God bless.